Hello, it's Superfast History. Now, when we think of Japan, do you think it's a still rich country? In the past, Japan indeed lived prosperously, to the extent of posing a threat to the world's number one economic power, the United States. But in the 1990s, it faced a serious economic crisis, the collapse of Japan's stock and real estate markets. Yeah, economic bubble. For instance, after the collapse of the bubble, Japan's stock market plummeted to one-third of its previous value within just 2 or 3 years. Stock that were once 30,000 yen dropped to 10,000 yen. Now, I couldn't help but wonder, Japan faced a tremendous economic crisis in the past, yet it still maintains the third position in the global GDP ranking. Even with such an economic crisis, why is Japan still doing well? Let me introduce two main reasons. Firstly, Japan's small and medium-sized enterprises play a significant role. Secondly, Japan excels in foreign investments. Let's start with SMEs. In the past, giant corporations like Sony and Panasonic lead the way in Japan. Sony especially produced excellent TVs, cameras, and various audio devices. But what about now? Do we really use a lot of Sony products? Well, maybe Sony headphones, but not so much Sony smartphones. We tend to use Samsung Galaxy or iPhones, right? So these major Japanese corporations have somewhat lost their global competitiveness. However, there is a phrase called swan's feet. Swans appear elegant and beautiful above water, but underneath, their feet move rapidly. In this sense, SMEs in Japan play the role of the swan's feet. Especially in Japan, small and medium-sized enterprises, commonly known as SMEs, are robust. For example, more than 210 SMEs in Japan hold a global market share of over 60%. These SMEs account for 60% of the money generated in the entire country. Comparatively, neighboring countries like South Korea have SMEs contributing to about 40% of the total income. So Japan's strength lies in the power of its SMEs. But are there no issue with Japan's SMEs? Recently, Japan has been facing the challenge of an aging population, leading to a shortage of skilled workers. Now let's move on. The second reason Japan is still doing well. The nation is an investment powerhouse. Why? Well, as the saying goes, even if a wealthy person goes bankrupt, they can make a comeback 3 times. Japan proves this by continuously earning substantial money through foreign investments. For instance, Japan invests overseas and earns around $148.5 billion. This mainly comes from interest and divine income. Just like the concept of FIRE, financial independence, retire early, that gained popularity during severe times like the COVID-19 pandemic. Making money quickly, investing it, and generating a monthly income before retiring. Japan's situation is somewhat reminiscent of this. Japan has invested heavily overseas, particularly in the United States, not only in stocks but also in real estate and bonds of various types. However, one could think about it this way. A country, like any organization, must continually create new growth engines. However, relying too much on investment without actual growth may have its limitations. So far, I have introduced why Japan's economy, despite facing challenges, maintains its position as the third largest GDP. Two main reasons: the role of SMEs and Japan's status as a major investment globally. However, it would be a bit unsatisfying to end here, right? We should touch on the issues Japan is currently facing. There are two significant problems. First, the issue of in-house unemployed individuals, and second, the emergence of the disdainful consumer generation. Japan has a concept called in-house unemployed. Yeah, it's quite strange. There are regular employees who, though working in a company, have no assigned task or have lost their jobs. In 2011, 4.65 million Japanese workers were in-house unemployed, accounting for about 8% of the total workforce. The problem is that it's not just 1 or 2 people in this situation, it's a significant number. The unique employment system in Japan makes firing quite challenging. For instance, when a company no longer needs an employee, instead of letting them go, they just continue together. From an individual's perspective, this might have advantages. However, from the company's perspective, it means unnecessary cost. Now, the second significant problem Japan is grappling with the emergence of the disdainful consumer generation. Young people in Japan who dislike spending money and feel no stress about saving are considered part of this generation. especially those born in the 1980s and 1990s, fall into this category. In the past, during Japan's prosperity, Louis Vuitton bags were a must-have for young women. But now, with the emergence of the disdain for consumer generation, such spending trends have changed. This poses a significant problem. From a national perspective, for the economy to thrive, the younger generation needs to spend money. If they keep saving instead, what will happen to the country's competitiveness? So Japan is currently facing a challenging situation due to the emergence of this disdainful consumer generation. In summary, today we explore the reasons why Japan is still doing well economically, delving into the role of SMEs and Japan's prowess as the major global investor. However, we also touch on the current issues Japan is facing, in-house unemployment, and the emergence of the disdainful consumer generation. Thank you, and see you in the next video.